With more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes, Welton Rayom is committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. They handle complex personal injury claims caused by the fault of another in both state and federal courts. They handle auto, trucking, motorcycle, slip and fall, and bicycle accidents. Call 954-966-4646. That's 954-966-4646. Welton Rayom can help.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
We are live. It is Tuesday night. I am Sean Stanley. He is the one, the only, the great Frankie Frezko. How we doing, sir?
Can you hear me loud and clear?
I got you, my man. I got you.
Man, sorry. I was running a little bit late. I was trying to get through. I was still working. So I was like, oh my God, I got to run. So I just ran upstairs and I made it on time. So I'm happy.
Oh, man. Well, it's always a great time when Frankie Frezko joins us. That's as long as Frankie's here, we're good. Watching a little bit of Panthers right now, as a matter of fact. They're finally playing an actual game that I can, tune into, like just watching, and it's fun to watch them. Also, a lot of wrestling this past weekend, and another big pay-per-view, PLE, Premium Live Event, whatever we're calling them these days.
Yeah.
Whatever the kids are calling them, the cool kids are calling them these days. We got another one this weekend. And by the way, in case you don't know, Sting's final match.
No.
We're going to discuss that as well. We're going to do our predictions. I even got odds. I went to Bets on Us, and I have odds for the matches.
Oh, nice.
At Revolution. Thanks to the great Fightful Select, by the way.
Cool.
All right, so let's talk WWE, Frankie. And again, I'm going off of that because I'm telling you now, I'll watch the pay-per-view, and then maybe after Revolution, I'll jump back into AEW more. But I've really kind of kicked the can down the road on AEW right now, man. So, I mean, I hate to say it, and it's just because I'm that guy. I'm that old guy that I like the storylines. I like the entertainment aspect of it. I love the wrestling. I love the athleticism inside the ring. But to be entertained, for me to watch 2 hours of that
wrestling.
Again, if I'm live, it's different. Live, I can sit there and focus on it. But if I'm watching it at home, there's too much other stuff going on to where I could be doing something else. And if it's not a storyline to where like, oh, I kind of need to watch this to follow along a little bit so I don't get lost, I don't feel like you can get lost in an AEW show. Like I could probably turn it on. I haven't watched it in a little while. I can probably turn it on right now and have an idea of what's going to go on and what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And again, they did hire the WWE writer that left. They did hire her. So maybe they're going to make some changes. And maybe after the Revolution, we start seeing some of those changes. Hopefully, No Doubt's in, Chad's in, my dad's in. We appreciate you guys. Frankie, that bald head is beautiful and in charge tonight. Big props, my man.
You know what? I knew one of you guys were gonna go ahead and call me on my bald head. Yes, I typically have a hat on, but like I told you, I was running late, so I didn't have time to go grab a hat. I just ran, turned on my computer, and I said, "Oh, I guess we're going no hat today." So yes, nice and bright, and that's why I was trying to lower the lighting because I was like, "Man, my bald head is shining. Look at this.
Oh,
This
it's
is nice."
shining, buddy. It's shining. I'm glad I got my hat on. I can dip it down a little bit.
I'm gonna lower it down a little bit. I'm gonna lower my light down a little bit, see if my head doesn't shine as much. But we got more viewers probably because of
Let
my
me tell
bald
you
head.
something, buddy. When you a star, man, that's like the hook signal. The light hits that and shines up to the roof. It's the Frankie signal. That's what that
There you
is.
go. See, now it's not so bright. I
Oh,
had to
not so
do
bad.
that. I had to lower it big time. That bald head was shining too much,
It
man.
happens, buddy. It happens.
And you
Get
know me,
outside every once in a while.
I never go, without a hat on the
Yeah.
show. So
No, I know.
I feel naked out here, bro.
100. Well, that's
I'm glad you didn't say what you were gonna say.
it's like,
So,
the other day, he's like, "Oh, I'll do the show in a studio." I'm like, no, we're not doing this. In your studio, you do that show if you're doing it.
yeah. If you
I
guys
won't
ever
be
see
there.
if you guys ever see me outside,
Mhm.
you'll see me every time with a hat. I have like so many hats.
Oh,
It's
and by the way,
crazy.
we'll be at Caneswear tomorrow afternoon, 3:30. So anybody want to be
Sweet.
stopping by. So we'll be at Caneswear tomorrow, chatting it up. But right now, it's myself and Frankie. Terry is in on the conversation. We're going to start off with the great look back at the Elimination Chamber.
I thought
And WWE spent the whole week over in Australia. They did a lot of things going around. They even did a press conference Thursday night at 11 o'clock p.m. I stayed up and watched it because that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't anything. I knew it wasn't. Again, they spoiled us with that Rock, Roman, Cody kind of. There's nothing going to live up to that. Maybe the WrestleMania one.
Yep.
Going, that's going to be interesting to see. There. But overall, your thoughts on, I guess, just the whole, not necessarily the card of Elimination Chamber, but the build up to Elimination Chamber and what you saw as far as the PLE being overseas for the first time in a long time.
Well, first, I thought you were gonna say we're gonna start with the Great Khali. I don't know if you saw that video. There was a video of Great Khali was like, I think he was cooking or something. He almost burned the kitchen down. So,
Oh Jesus!
but back to the live event. I didn't get to watch it live. Obviously, I'm not waking up 5 o'clock in the morning to watch it. So
I woke up at 5 o'clock. I fell asleep at 8:30. I had to rewatch the ending of it.
I will say this. I watched the replay and it was tough for me to watch the replay in its entirety without falling asleep. I did it twice actually, and I fell asleep twice. So if you're asking me what I thought about the fact that they were in Australia, number one, I think that's great. I think it was cool for Australia. I think the fans, I don't have a problem with fans going ahead and experiencing the whole WWE wrestling and all that. And I know Australia is very big in wrestling. I got a friend of mine he's a DJ over there and he loves AEW.
Well, I forgot Grayson Waller was from there until the actual
yeah, I didn't remember that
did
he was
the,
from there
the press conference, and they brought him out to host it with Corey Graves, and then everybody, they love their Grayson Waller over there, buddy. They love him.
Yeah, they did. I did feel that Grayson Waller, he kind of left this guy, Austin Theory, kind of high and dry, but that's another story. So I think what WWE needs to do is kind of follow in the same footsteps that the UFC does. The UFC, when they go to these shows outside of the United States, they typically cater to the United States time zone. So they'll do whatever event they're gonna do at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, but it will be shown here in the United States at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So it makes sense for them to do that. I'm not
That's not
saying
true, though. That's not true.
yeah, they do that, man.
Oh,
Yes,
I
they do.
watched the pay-per-view the other day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay, well that's fine, but yeah, I
What
mean,
they do is most of their UFC pay-per-views are here in the US. This is where they get you. The pay-per-views, the big fights are here in the US. What they do is they send the fight nights to the outside, to travel around.
no, but
those are on ESPN, so they can be
they've had some of the Abu Dhabi ones that are
the
these
ESPN
events and
Plus
stuff like
things, but
and like the Conor McGregor versus Khabib was over there as well and all that stuff. But yes, when it comes to that type of event, yes, you're right. They do. Some of them do start around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's fine. I'm not saying that they have to start at 8 o'clock either, but a time that works for us who are in the United States. The reason I say this is because wrestling is big because of us, So I
but also
respect.
you have to have. I mean, let's do devil advocate to what you're saying. So
Okay.
it was at 6 p.m., which was 5 p.m. our time, right? Because there are 11 hours. So if we did 8 o'clock, that'd be 7 o'clock in the morning their time. Do they get 72,000 people in an arena at 7 a.m.?
Probably, yeah, because they're never there. They're never there. I mean, and you could always push it a little bit too. They could have done maybe 10 o'clock in the morning, and then here it would have been what? What time would have been here? It's 11 hours of a
9
difference.
o'clock at night.
That's not bad. You understand me? It's like I get it. You could work with them, but you could also work with us. That's
Yeah,
all
but
I'm saying.
you're also doing it at 9 o'clock on a Saturday night.
Yeah, what's
I
wrong with
still
that?
think that people are doing stuff,
See,
man.
I think the problem is that you're like that a big old age group that you want to go to sleep really early or go to sleep really late, or I don't know. But I'm the type of person that sleeps late, so
I'm
I
just
don't
saying, I
mind.
mean, if you do it at 9 o'clock, think about this. Okay, you're doing it at 9 o'clock. You've got the NBA going, you've got the NHL going, you've got, I mean, if you're not here in the US, there's so much other stuff going on, not to mention concerts, just going out to eat. I mean, there's so much other stuff to do.
True, but a lot of people are gonna stick
That's the
around
only
and
reason,
still
like,
watch it.
even with the 8 o'clock on Saturdays, like, I still like, but now it doesn't matter because they're streaming on Peacock. You know what I'm saying? For them, it doesn't matter because the
Yeah.
numbers are going to be the numbers because people go back and watch it anyway. So it doesn't, the streaming numbers doesn't affect it. What the interesting one is like AEW because they have to buy. So you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. Now,
WWE
what?
can work around this because they don't really, doesn't matter.
Yeah. No. So I
I mean,
mean,
not that it doesn't matter, but what I'm saying is you can stream it whenever. It's not.
I know you're playing devil's advocate, and I know, like you said, there's you could go out and eat and all that stuff, but this is only one Saturday on the whole month. You understand me? Like, I'm pretty sure that if you notice that there's an elimination chamber going on, you'll just want to stay home. You might go ahead and be like, hey, let's just get some food delivered or whatnot. A lot of people don't even want to go out anymore because of how expensive
Yeah.
everything is out there. So like you don't even want to drive. So I get it. I get it. But that was the only pet peeve I had when it comes to them doing it in Australia. I do feel they should go more often, and just give those fans a treat because it's a hell of an experience, and I think they did a phenomenal job over there in Australia. Now, going to the card,
Yep.
I thought the card was too predictable. I think I've read that online as well.
That's see, this is the thing that just kind of just ticks me off about this whole thing.
Okay,
You always know the pay-per-view leading up to WrestleMania is going to set up the matches for WrestleMania. So if you're any fan at all and you understand wrestling, it's going to be predictable.
true,
I mean,
100%.
there's nothing else around it. Cool thing was they got Tiffany Stratton over.
They did.
Bianca got a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Like there were instances where you knew they weren't winning, but they
Yes.
got their stuff in. That's what they got to do is you build up the other people that are not, like Drew was winning, so ultimately you're setting up the other matches, Logan Paul, RKO, when you look at how they set everything up. Yes, the winners we knew were predictable. I mean, I think this is the one card where you can sit there and go, you pretty much knew everything. If you wanted to play devil advocate, you'd be like, well, they could throw a change up and throw this guy into the main. But we sat here and said, this is what's going to happen. And it was exactly what happened on the card because that the pay-per-view right before that WrestleMania is always going to be predictable because you got to set up your matches heading in. You got 4 weeks now to prepare everything.
I get you 100%, but they could have done a twist here and there, and it doesn't necessarily have to even been in the match. They could have done it during the Grayson Waller thing that they were doing. that would not have affected the storyline whatsoever. They could have easily gone ahead and brought in on Jimmy or Solo or something to bring something different in that particular segment that they were doing. Kind of like what they did with AJ Styles when he went in and he started messing around with this
LA
guy,
Knight.
LA Knight. So I just I don't want to go ahead and say that I'm disappointed because we knew who was going to win. I'm just disappointed that I'm so used to the WWE throwing in like these special things from time to time
But again,
that
it's hard. You're flying everybody to Australia. There's no surprises. Like the reason AJ Styles, he
I'm
flew
not
with Cody. He flew in with Cody.
Sean,
He wasn't on the plane. Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? What do you
Sean,
want?
when you come and tell me, hey, you're flying everybody to Australia, WWE has a shitload of money, man. I don't give a damn about that. They could, if they want to fly their whole roster, they could. So that I'm not
He
gonna
did
buy that.
basically.
Exactly. So if you want to go ahead and do something kind of like what AJ Styles did with LA Knight, that's the type of stuff I wanted to see as well. I feel like sometimes they get away from that. I think look at the thing when they did I think it was Backlash back in the day when it first started last year. They had Carlitos come out. They had these guys come out when they were in Puerto Rico. Something that brings in some type of enthusiastic and you're like, wow, it doesn't affect the outcome because everybody knew that Damian Priest and Bad Bunny, this is what was going to happen. But at the end of the day, it was something that brings a little bit more excitement to the card. And it just felt too bland. It felt like, yo, okay, they fought everything. The nicest moment was Tiffany Stratton. And again, you guys know that I'm a big Tiffany. I My two favorite female wrestlers right now have always been Becky Lynch, but now Tiffany's coming up there. She's reaching up there. So I was happy that they did a great job with her. I think they did a phenomenal job with her. But they could have done anything different, man. Like little stuff, little nuggets here and there that not only will spice up the live event, but maybe you could kind of spice it up or leave you intrigued with, oh my God, what's going to happen on Monday night? Or, oh my God, what's going to happen at WrestleMania? Stuff like that. That's all I criticize,
Yeah,
not the
that's the
results.
thing where I think people get lost in is that now it's just cementing the deal to get to WrestleMania. Like the next 4 Raws and SmackDowns, I guarantee you, Cody might wrestle one more Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah, because they don't want him to
They're
get
not going to
hurt.
be wrestling a whole lot because they don't want to screw and mess up an injury or something. That's what I'm. It's like I get it, but like every pay per view, you don't have to have a surprise. That's AEW. That's AEW.
Come on,
That's
man.
hey,
Okay,
guess what? We
did you
got
see? Did you see?
tomorrow, boys. Announcement from Tony Khan. TK in the house.
Did Royal Rumble? Did Royal Rumble do anything crazy? They brought they brought Naomi back. They brought obviously it was the first fight for CM Punk. They R-Truth did the little skit
Did
where
his
he
thing,
went
yeah.
in and out in the wrong
And
place and the wrong time.
R-Truth did the same thing this time too. By the way,
Yeah, but they dropped the ball a little bit with that one.
you mean
They
they
should have.
dropped the ball? They put it on the social media.
Yeah, but
Hey,
they just bring
where
them out there.
I'm in Austria, dude. I'm in Austria. They're in Australia. He went to the wrong damn place. That's
Yeah,
our
it's
truth right there,
that
baby.
that is R-Truth. But then R-Truth could have made his way
Cut
over
the
to.
promo on the thing, like, hey, I'm
He
in Austria, boys.
he could have ran into Elimination Chamber and said, "Guys, I made it. I made it. I made it." Even though it was late, and he could have made it on time. And then all of a sudden, he's talking and he's like, "Oh my God, I made it on time, guys. I'm ready for the Royal Rumble all over again." And then be like, "Truth, this is the Elimination Chamber, man. What's going on here?" And then you could play with him so much. It's crazy how much. Like look at yesterday. Yesterday, I think it was. Who was it? Was it Drew McIntyre or somebody? I forgot who. No, Gunther. It was Gunther, I think. I think it was Gunther. Somebody mentioned R-Truth last night about like you guys are even making it seem like if R-Truth deserves a title shot. Who was it? Was it Gunther? Damn,
I
now
believe so. Because right now they've got like Sammy going after Gunther a little bit. They've got Dom calling out Gunther's. Everybody's calling out Gunther right now. I almost feel like it's going to be like a gauntlet match for Gunther at the damn WrestleMania.
But yeah, overall, man, again, it was okay. It was okay, but if I'm falling asleep on it, it's probably because I kind of thought it was kind of like like I just felt like it was another SmackDown or Raw. I mean, as a matter of fact, I feel like maybe SmackDown was probably even better than the Elimination Chamber. So that's the only thing. If I had to give it a grade, I would give it a C. I think it was one of the more weakest live events I've seen.
This guy.
Yeah, man. Sorry, bro. I gotta keep it real.
No, I
man.
mean, I gave it a B because it's set up for WrestleMania. It did what it was supposed to do. Anybody that watches that pay-per-view should know that. But again, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I mean, they set it up every year. I mean, what's the difference? We want to see something
Drew's
different.
now taking on Seth. Becky's taking on Rhea. You've got Logan Paul with RKO. You've got AJ and LA Knight.
Oh, not to mention that tag team fight between Tyler and this guy against against Damian Priest and Finn Balor. That fight was boring as hell, man. That fight wasn't fun at all. I fell asleep on that one. I wasn't too thrilled about that
That's
that
their
match.
style, though. They're just bruiserweights, man. They're not high flyers. They pick a body part and they break it down. I mean, that's what Pete Dunne does. That is the Fit Finley, William Regal way of wrestling. That's what you
It's
get.
a little bit boring, man. Again, I think they could have done more with that match, but it's all good. It is what it is.
Again, my whole thing is like that pay-per-view is just don't get anybody hurt, and we make it to WrestleMania. That's all that. Like for a while, they knocked elimination. It used to be Royal Rumble, WrestleMania. There used to not even be a pay-per-view there because they were just worried that people would get hurt. Now they put this one back in there to kind of set up the second championship match, which I kind of like as far as there, because now you have to earn it. But again, if you watch it and you understand it, you pretty much can predict how everything's going to go. And that's what that pay-per-view is about. I gave it a B. I thought, again, there were spots there that were bad and there were spots there that were good. I mean, I think it did what it needed to do.
I mean, look, the two matches that kind of like they were not the greatest. I know that they had to leave Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax because obviously Rhea Ripley, you called it. That's her hometown. We spoke about it, and you said, hey, they're gonna make that the last match because obviously she's in her home.
That and the way they were just building it up the whole. That match was going in there.
That match was weak. That match wasn't something that I.
But again, it's like my dad texted me. He's like, oh, it's not that good. But again,
even your dad.
Yeah, well, but the whole thing is like with Nia Jax, like she's the Andre the Giant right now. Like it's Andre Hogan. That match. If you did that match today with the way fans are now, you don't get the same thing you got in the Pontiac Silverdome. I don't think this day and age with wrestling fans the way they are. Back then, that was monumental. You had Andre the Giant turn on Hogan, and it was, nobody had body slammed Andre and all that stuff. So it made that moment. And that's kind of like, in a way, what they're, I think, trying to do with nobody had done some of the moves to Nia that Rhea did. So there were little moments there. Now, again, to me, unfortunately, is, and you know what? I'm not taking anything away from Nia, but to me, she turns into like what Omos is and everything else. Like they're spectacles to me. They're attractions. They're like you don't put Omos into a feud with anybody because why? Just like you never put Andre in a feud with
then
Stud and Andre at the end with Hogan and stuff like that. But before that, it was always like battle royals. It was always attractions that he would come in for.
Well, if that's the case, if that's what you're going that route, then I'm gonna blame the storytellers. Why in the world are we seeing Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax as the match, the final match for her in Australia? They should have not done that. It should have been Rhea Ripley against somebody else, not Nia Jax. If that's the case, if that's how you're looking at it, I gotta blame those people who set that match up. It doesn't make any sense then, and you can't come and tell me
she defeated the biggest.
You just
challenge to her.
You just finished saying that those type of athletes, those type of wrestlers are like monumental parts. So like, hey, we're gonna see them in the Royal Rumble. You're gonna see them maybe in the undercard.
I also said in this day and age, they don't look at it that way though anymore. That's the way I look at it. I look at it like back in the day, Andre versus Big John Studd. It was Andre against other giants. Andre against King Kong Bundy. If it wasn't that, it was Andre in a battle royal. They were the attraction.
And that's what Nia Jax is, an attraction, right? So if Nia Jax is an attraction,
I see her, but
she shouldn't be in the final match.
They don't do it that way. So to make Rhea, because again, who do you put her against if it's not Nia Jax in that instance? Ooh.
Well, I don't. I know Liv Morgan just came back. I know Naomi just came back.
And she's a heel. She's playing a face in that role. That's why Nia got the part.
Yeah, but again, I just don't think they did a good job setting that up. Maybe they could have done a 3-way. I don't know, something.
I
Something
honestly
to
think the 3-way is happening at WrestleMania. Nia
what
attacked
between
Becky
Rita
at
and
Raw.
Becky Lynch?
Nia attacked Becky at Raw. Like, what is that? Where does that come from?
I could only see
What?
that being a 3-way if Becky beats her in the next Raw, because then now they're kind of
if they're setting
1-1.
up for that, then maybe like heading into Raw, Nia's wearing her down, and Rhea's like, I don't know, maybe because Rhea beat her now, Nia respects. Now she's gonna help Rhea by beating down Becky. Maybe that's a story they're gonna go with there or something. But I mean, I hope so. I don't want that to be a triple threat, and I don't think they will. But it was just odd. Like last night, they do the whole thing, and then Monday. Yeah, last night. Sorry, and then it was Nia attacking
Becky.
You know what I'm saying?
And so again, if I'm looking at these matches, right, the Kabuki Warriors versus Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell.
That was to get Indy on the card. That was to get Indy on the card in front of her hometown.
Man, well,
she's from Perth, Australia. She's from Australia.
That one wasn't the greatest match either.
No,
the women's elimination chamber was the best, probably one of the best matches, obviously. Yes. The Finn Balor against the Pete Dunne and Tyler. Again, I think Pete and Tyler, I think they wanted to kind of just put them on a main live event to see how they do, and it didn't sell.
It go too long though because they needed the time.
Yeah,
I think they let it go too long because again, that match, if they're breaking the bones and stuff at certain things, but if you keep doing it over and over and over again, it wears very easily.
I think they were pushing to see what you're gonna get from that fan reaction. If Pete and Tyler can actually make it kind of like a good match, I think they were kind of testing the waters with those two, and I think they honestly kind of let down. It's kind of like these guys. Oh man, I forgot. The two from that they get back together. If I remember their names, I'll tell you. The two guys, the one that used to be with the Miz, and then the one that left and got fired and came back, and now they're back together. What is their name? I forgot.
Oh, Johnny Gargano, DIY.
Yes. See, those guys, you haven't seen them in a live event going against Finn and Damian. So you understand me? Like they're testing the waters with these tag teams, and they're not the best. And
but also, I just think it's one of those things too, to where I think, like with Nia to Rhea, you knew who was going to win the match.
Yes.
Same with Judgment Day against them. You knew who was going to win the match. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I think they want to have Damian and Finn do the titles at WrestleMania. So I just, again,
makes sense.
It's one of those things to where nothing was going to happen at this pay-per-view. Nothing.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just
all right. So the WrestleMania matches I kind of got set up right now. I'm going to go over the ones that I think they're aiming for, and then I want to get a couple maybe you would like to see added. Okay, we'll play guest a booker here, Mr. DJ.
Let's do it.
Frankie Frezko. All right, so basically we know it's Rhea, Becky now, Bayley, Io, Cody, Roman, Seth, Drew. Those four are kind of locked in. I think they kind of went for Logan Paul maybe against RKO with the way they kind of did that match there. And then the other thing was, I was wondering do they make, I think you actually said it last week, a triple threat with KO?
Yeah.
Maybe they add KO to that as a triple threat match. Maybe LA Knight against AJ Styles. That was kind of set up there.
Probably going to do that.
And then the tag titles, I kind of thought last night with the way everything went down with Imperium and Judgment Day.
Yeah.
Again, it's like one of those things like Dom versus Gunther.
Hell yeah. Make that happen at WrestleMania, baby.
Like I almost feel like Gunther's going to be that guy to be like, I defend the title so much. He's going to defend it night 1 and night 2. I think he versus Dom on one night, Sami Zayn on the second night, or vice versa.
Well, what do you think about the Cody challenge to The Rock? I mean, you think that
That's the
Cody might
one thing
wrestle
that I'm
twice?
trying to figure out when that's going to be, because he said anytime, any place. And then last night, at the end, he was like, the bloodline's not hunting me, I'm hunting the bloodline.
Yep.
So it's gonna be interesting, man, to see what happened. Because and then also Fightful kind of Tamatanga, who was in JPW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, was part of Bullet Club over there.
Mm-hmm.
His contract ended, and he's heading to WWE.
Oh.
So Jacob Fatu has not signed any deal that I know of yet. So it's almost like it's starting to play out a little bit, where does the Samoan dynasty play into any of the plans at WrestleMania? And then the other thing was, which, I kind of was thrown to see if it sticks against the wall, is The Rock doing his best acting ever by acting like he's part of the bloodline?
I hope not. I hope he's really actually gonna be fighting and supporting the bloodline. I hope he sticks with them. I like the heel Rock. It's
Oh,
been a
I
minute
like
since we
The
haven't
Rock
seen him.
too, as a matter of fact, I do.
So
I think it adds. It's odd to me that Roman has taken such a back seat with The Rock there, though.
because The Rock is bigger than Roman. Let's keep it real.
I get that, but on TV, Roman was, I'm the tribal chief. If The Rock wanted to come to me, then we could, he was all big talk. Now The Rock comes and he's like, he's back. He's taking a back seat.
Of course, because he's The Rock.
Doesn't, again, the whole storyline of it was, there should still be a little rift, like there was when Jay and, what I'm saying? Like there should still be a little bit, to me, bickering. Yes, they got the one enemy in Cody as the sworn enemy that they'll team up against. But I believe there should still be a little bit of bickering within the bloodline, as far as who's, Solo looks at Jimmy and is like, I'm Roman. Jimmy looks at Solo and is like, I'm Rock. It's kind of choosing again, where so you keep that kind of in the back of the mind, whereas none of that's happening right now.
No, I mean, I don't know where they're going with this. I mean,
but also that's the other thing too, is do you give too much? You know what I'm saying? Like you also don't want the fans running crazy, because that's what'll happen.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like, oh, this, it's squirrel, and then you forget what the hell the real story was.
I wish they would bring The Rock to Monday night. I know they're pushing him in SmackDown, but I wish he would have came out to Monday night. That would be pretty cool if they would have done that too.
I think what's going to happen is Cody hunts them on SmackDown, and I guarantee you, before WrestleMania, Rock and Roman make an appearance on Raw, on one of them. I'm not going to say every one of them.
Yeah.
But on one of them leading up, maybe the final one leading into, WrestleMania. But if I'm them right now, with the way Cody said, I'm hunting the bloodline, the first thing I show on Friday Night SmackDown is Solo laid out.
Nah.
Yep. First thing I do is show Solo laid out, because then all of a sudden, boom, Cody's here. The crowd automatically thinks Cody's here.
Problem with me is that I don't see Cody that type of person, that type of wrestler. His character is not like that he would go down and knock somebody out backstage and then.
You said the same thing about Dusty Rhodes, and he came back as the Midnight Rider. Lost a loser leave town match, and he came back as the Midnight Rider.
Yeah. I mean, it could be possible, I guess, but for me, I just don't see it.
Tough times call for tough people, baby.
I don't see it,
the
man.
Bird of the Woods.
Now, especially since Paul Heyman was there on Monday, I just don't see. And then, did you see that, man? Paul Heyman taking out the other phone now, and now he says, "Hey, call The Rock and stuff." I think that's.
Did you see though that the thing that was interesting? The Rock was the one with his logo, right?
Yeah.
The other phone said Bloodline.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is it Rock in the Bloodline, or is it Bloodline? You know what I'm saying? Like, you have the Rock phone and you have the Bloodline phone.
Well, did that phone always say Bloodline on it?
I don't know. I got to go back and look at that, because that's the first time I've ever seen it with anything on it, honestly.
Yeah, I think
they did that just because he had to whip out another phone to call Rock, so it made it look like something else. Let's see. Chad says, no doubt loved my idea, by the way. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be Solo. It could be Jimmy. Why not just lay Jimmy out?
Because the Cody reminds me of the Crybabies, bro. He's not that type of wrestler.
No, that's his fans are the crybabies.
So is Cody.
Cody's
a
going for
crybaby.
whatever, man.
Cody's a crybaby just like him, bro.
No, he's not, my man. Cody coming for the bloodline.
Nah.
Chad said, you think Roman might be dealing with some medical stuff? Just seems there's been less of. No, it's what his contract is. I mean, it's just.
Oh, I love the question that Terry asked.
You know,
I wish Terry would ask me that question because it's gonna be Dominic Mysterio, sir. Dominic Mysterio. If they don't do it, WWE is smoking. They have no idea what they're missing on that opportunity right there, bro. Dom should win that belt all day, and he should win it by being shady. Help, because that's
of course. If he wins it, that's how it's gonna win.
They need to give it to him.
What might happen is he fights Sami Zayn on night 1. And, Sami Zayn works him over a little bit and this and that, and maybe gets an injury to a rib or something or a knee, and then have Dom just come in and get the scraps on night 2.
Yeah, but Dom doesn't have money in the bank. He can't do that.
But honestly, I don't know what they're going to do with Gunther. It's odd. It's like, okay, Sammy was like, he wants it, and then Dom was with him in the ring.
Yeah.
There's been talk. Braun Breaker showed up on SmackDown, which would mean that he's going to be for the US title, not the Intercontinental, but his name was linked to the Intercontinental up until that. So maybe they decided against that, but that's who I thought would honestly.
I think they dropped the ball when Jey Uso didn't win it.
Well, maybe Jey comes, but again, that's the other match that's going to be set up for Jey
versus
that
was that one's predictable.
Yeah, well, City of Brotherly Love, baby, you got to have the Barley fight.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So
I hope they sell it more, but yeah.
Well, no, but also see, that's where I think you're going to get Rikishi involved.
You could do that.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm saying. Like, there's going to be a lot of, I believe, the Samoan dynasty involvement into some of these matches at the WrestleMania. Chad, I'm all for Dom to do it too, Frankie. Bring him more heat. He doesn't need any more heat.
Bro. Bring it to him, goddammit. He needs it. People hate him so much.
Hot pepper? What's the hottest pepper?
Wait, hold on a second now. Because good thing Chad mentioned that. What was going on with Peacock this past I guess Saturday? What was this whole situation when they blacked out the goddamn thing and they were bleeping all these people? What is going on? I thought live events, they didn't care about that. I thought it was okay to, let them curse, let them do whatever they want. Did you notice that they bleeped even when Bobby Lashley, he kind of, I guess, injured his elbow or he had kind of tweaked it or something. He went and he said shit, and they blocked and they bleeped it too. I was like, what is this, bro?
Maybe because overseas they can't curse. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Did you guys notice that? I noticed that all day. That Dom was the same thing. They were like, I think they were sticking the bird at Dom and everything, and they were like they blocked it out, like they didn't want people to see that. And I'm like, what? What's going on here?
I mean, why don't go to Australia and get bird thrown at me?
Shit. If somebody's throwing birds at me, I'm gonna throw birds right back at them. Even when Logan Paul was in the Elimination Chamber, he was like doing something, and I think they were kind of like muting him, and I was like, what is this? Like, I don't know, but I was a little bit pissed about that. If you guys noticed that as well, say it in the chat, because I did realize
Anybody else notice that, or was it just Frankie's TV?
No, I swear I saw that.
80 years because you're AEW. So.
I swear I saw that, man. I swear I saw that stuff. That it was like they were blacking stuff out, and I was like, "What is going on? Why they bleep? They were not letting them curse." I was like, "Okay, I mean, it's not. This is not Fox. This is not USA. Let them freaking curse." But you know what? USA. I mean, Peacock does the same thing because when Peacock they had the Las Vegas press conference, they were bleeping everything. So it was like, what is this, man? I thought this was going back to the, the good old days of WrestleMania. I mean, the good old days of WWE. Like
it might be easier for them.
Yeah.
They don't have to fix it on the thing.
So you want me to? Okay, so to answer your question a little bit earlier, you mentioned, hey, any other things that we could predict for WrestleMania?
Else you could possibly think of for WrestleMania.
Okay, so obviously Logan and KO is a good match. I the Gunther and Dom is a good match. I think they need to include um maybe Cody fighting twice because of the whole, picking The Rock up. So I think The Rock, he probably fights him day 2 or day 1, one of those
No, I
things.
bet you what it'll be. It'll be day 1 he fights The Rock, because that'll probably be like a stipulation. And then what it'll be is Cody versus Rock, winner versus Roman.
You could do that. That's fine. That's not bad. But something like that would work, I think, in my
But I
opinion.
think ultimately, I think that's the way I believe is how this is going to kind of play out, I guess. Like, I don't.
See, but I'm reading the chat here, and Terry says, I don't think they will let Dom beat Gunther. It will kill his momentum he built with that title. Okay.
It depends how they do it. I mean,
Exactly. Because if you have Dom win by assistance from somebody, JD McDonough or something, it's not gonna hurt Gunther. Plus, that they're pushing for Gunther to eventually probably compete for one of these world titles. So it wouldn't hurt his, what he's been able to build. I think it will only make him even stronger because he will go ahead and probably vouch and say, you know what, somebody had to cheat in order to beat me, but that's fine. I've held the IC championship. Now I'm going after the world championship, and he could push, that type of, story to help his character. But besides that, and again, I like the fact that Dom is there. I mean, you could. I think in WrestleMania you need to throw R-Truth in there somewhere in WrestleMania.
I was always thinking it was going to be R-Truth and Miz against Damian and Finn Balor. That's where I thought that was kind of aiming for. Awesome Truth versus Balor and Priest for the titles.
Yeah, that could have happened. But they kind of went away from.
Yeah, it's kind of gone down a little bit more. It's like, I honestly think they killed it too soon. I think they killed the whole R-Truth as part of the Judgment Day too soon. Like, I think they were worried it was getting too out of hand the other way. They went the extreme the other way. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were like, oh, this is getting way over more than what it was almost that organic getting over again that happened with LA Knight, basically.
Yeah, man.
I think they were kind of like, wait a minute, we can't do this again. And also with Sammy is who I was thinking of.
Yeah.
The organic, when they started getting like, oh, now we can't do anything because this is just built up on itself. And I think they were like, okay, we need to end it. And I think they went extreme measures the other way to make sure everybody knew that he wasn't.
I just think they could have kept going with it.
100% Drew's promo.
Nah, man, screw that. Drew McIntyre saying those ridiculous stuff to CM Punk and stuff like that. Come on, man. Hey, why are you taking shots at CM Punk, man? How dare he?
But I will return, man.
I will say this, man. Drew is doing a hell of a job when it comes to his heel, turn. And then on top of that, he re-signed with WWE. So I can't wait to see him.
Well,
no, he didn't. I've been reading. It's been going all around.
I think he has, but they didn't want it leaked out, so they put a kibosh on it, saying they were inaccurate reports.
Oh, they put like a 20
I'm almost positive they're probably already it's probably signed, because the one thing WWE does right is they're not going to put somebody in a situation to where they could win a title.
Yeah, build a whole story around them and then
and gone. That's not going to happen.
AEW is known for that.
Or you build this big story and then you forget the one piece that when one person disappears, it's like, well, now what do we do?
Well, now let me ask you this. That's a good question by Memo. Memo said it makes sense why he resigned, because he more than likely is going to win the title. Do you think Drew McIntyre beats Seth freaking Rollins?
Yes, and I think it happens the way that he said in the promo last night. The bloodline costs Seth Rollins the title.
Oh, man. I don't know, man. I don't know. Because you could go either way with Seth or with Drew when it comes to CM Punk, even though Drew is still keeping it up, more than Seth. So that's the only positive. But you could go either way.
Drops him in the podcast, not on live TV, because he's still trying to do the babyface thing. But if you listen to him at the podcast, he'll drop little nuggets in there,
I feel Seth is still going to beat him. I don't know. Just something in me is telling me.
I think it's going to be time to move to Drew for a little bit, and then Seth can win it back. Like just
Well,
go
if
to
you're gonna give it,
Seth and then
if
I
you're
mean
gonna give it,
and then
if you're gonna give it a Drew, and then by then CM Punk hopefully comes back, then it'll be Drew versus CM Punk. You can't have Drew beat CM Punk. CM Punk has to get over, in my
I
opinion.
think ultimately that's what it is. Drew will be the placement until CM Punk comes back and beats him, and then you might end up getting Seth and CM Punk at SummerSlam, or sorry, Survivor Series, or one of the ones further down the year.
Yeah, or you could do earlier where you say CM Punk faces against Drew once he comes back. Seth once CM Punk comes back, and then it kind of builds up. Hey, CM Punk took care of business with Drew McIntyre. Now I'm gonna handle my business by going after Seth freaking Rollins. So
Yeah.
you could go either route. Either route works. I just don't see Seth freaking Rollins losing the belt. I still think he is just I think he wants to keep defending the belt. And I don't think I could see that. I mean, even though Drew McIntyre has been wrestling a lot more than before. And if they did just resign him, they want to get their money's worth. So
Yep. And the other thing though, to be honest, when you look at it, it is okay. This year the contracts are up. SmackDown goes to USA.
yep.
Raw goes to
That's why
Netflix.
that's why the Rock keeps going to SmackDown.
Yeah. Well, no, but now again, one thing that was already said was, do you think they, bring the titles back together, have one WWE champion? Because my thinking is this: I think they do away with the brands.
Nah. I would have thought they would have done that if maybe they were gonna get rid of NXT, but they still want NXT.
Obviously, that's where I think the difference is. I think what they do is they bulk up NXT because it's going to be on CW with some of the guys that are on the roster now there. So now CW and USA SmackDown will kind of every week build up, and then you have your little pay-per-view on Netflix each week. 2-hour show, no commercials. You know what I'm saying? I mean, again, you can use it that way. Not saying they're doing this. I'm saying this is something they could end up working to. It's kind of like what TNA, when it first came into existence, they only had pay-per-view. So every week was $9.99 and you got the card. But here you could do on NXT and SmackDown, build up, and then because they never set a set day for Raw, by the way. They said it could maneuver around and be on a Monday, on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday. So you could set up to where you have a super card, like the live shows that they have there. WWE used to do that, by the way. When they were doing house shows and wherever, they would record those matches. They would have a thing called TNT Titans. It was a show where Vince McMahon was the host and Lord Alfred Hayes. And then where there was almost like a Saturday Night Live, or not Saturday Night Live, a talk show like Jimmy Kimmel type thing where Vince sat at the table. He interviewed the guys. They would go to matches at wherever, the Garden or wherever, and then they would come back in. So it's going to be interesting to see. Raw or whatever they're going to call it. It's going to be 2 hours commercial free.
Yep.
It's going to be 2 hours straight. Well, although I'm sure they're going to throw in like at the pay-per-view, the PLEs, you're going to have the little WWE stuff in there, but there will be no commercials per se from Netflix.
Now, No Doubt says Priest has to cash in the Money in the Bank before July 6th. I mean, he needs to cash it at sometime, bro. Like that.
You can't hold it over a year because the next pay-per-view, it's over.
Yeah, and has he held it more than Austin Theory held it? Because I remember the last one with Austin Theory,
I
he
think
held it for a while too.
The longest person to hold it, I want to say was, I don't know why I'm thinking Kennedy. Might have been the one that held it the longest.
Kennedy.
Ziggler held it till the night after WrestleMania.
Ooh.
So can that happen? And Terry said RIP to the original Horseman, Ole Anderson, of course.
Oh, yes, absolutely, man. RIP. Saw that. The crazy thing too about once he cashes in the Money in the Bank, it's kind of hurt him a little bit because he's all known for Senor Money in the Bank, So now that once he cashes it, he's not going to be able to use that for his gimmick. So kind of sucks. But yeah, they're going to have to use it sometime soon. I don't know. Edge, maybe. To me, man, I mean, what I do feel a little bit disappointed about WWE is that the last 2 Money in the Banks, which has been Austin Theory and now Damian Priest, they kind of shy away from it. Like they're making it seem like it's not that important, and that is a concern. Like I
Yeah, but you
always
also can't go the other way and be like, oh, just because you win the briefcase, you're going to be a champion. Like I think
correct.
that's the part
There's,
that
but
like.
there's nothing wrong challenging and losing. That's fine. But
Yeah, but
it's
when
just
you're the heel, you don't challenge and lose. That's not a heel move. The heel move is to wait till the champ's down and then you cash it in.
yes, yes, yes. I get that. What I'm saying is these guys are holding the Money in the Bank so long that you're just like, okay, it's just like another like I don't know, like a belt or like I don't know, they changed their wardrobe and now they have that along with it. It's just it doesn't seem like they're putting that much significance on it. Like how EO cashed it in really quickly and she won.
Yeah, but
That
she
was
also
cool.
waited till the person till Bianca was down.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I'm
yeah.
saying? Like that's the heel move that you're going to get to. Now, again, as Mimo is saying right here, is the element of surprise could be Damian Priest at WrestleMania.
I just don't know, man.
I mean,
It's
I
just
don't know where it fits in. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's 100%, but
you know what it could do?
it's one thing. I mean, if you screw Drew out of it,
You don't have to go that route. Hey man, what about if Dom Mysterio goes against Gunther, Gunther beats Dom, and then he cashes it on the IC belt? You don't have to necessarily cash it. I mean, I
no, it
know
doesn't
what you're
say
gonna
you
say.
it has to be a heavyweight title. It just says you can
Yeah.
any
I
championship.
mean, Austin Theory did the USA belt.
Yeah.
So, like,
Well, because with me, I honestly thought when Otis won it, he was going to do it for a tag team title shot when he won it originally.
yeah, I remember.
And he
I remember.
lost it. He got pinned and he lost the briefcase and all that stuff. But you know what? Because Priest last night was being held back with Gunther. It's a good call. Maybe it's Dom against Gunther. And then
Didn't the Miz hold the Money in the Bank as well for a while too? Or he cashed it? I think he cashed. Didn't he cash it
that's
against
on
Bobby
Cena.
Lashley?
Was it last year or Cena?
I don't remember. I remember. I think he had a Money in the Bank as well. And maybe he did cash it on Cena, but I did he win it twice or did he win it once?
I think he's only won it once. But
I don't know why I get the vibe that he beat Bobby Lashley and took the belt from Bobby
know,
Lashley, or
right?
was trying to get the belt from Bobby. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. It just rang in my head when the Miz. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, in the chat. If there was a part where the Miz was trying to go after Bobby Lashley, because I remember Bobby Lashley had to defend. I think it was when Bobby Lashley had the belt, and I think the Miz tried to cash in. I think he won it, and then he lost it like right the next day or something like that. Wasn't it like that?
All right,
Maybe
so
I'm
here
off.
we go.
Maybe it was the IC belt, or I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I don't remember. But
Right, so here's the Money in the Bank, the complete list.
Okay.
Edge won the briefcase at WrestleMania 21. He held it for 280 days. Cashed it in at New Year's Revolution, January 8, 2006.
Is he the longest?
Hold on. Remember that number, 208. Right now, 280. 280 is the longest. Rob Van Dam won it at WrestleMania 21, held it for 70 days. And then he cashed in, of course, against John Cena in ECW One Night Stand. But that was not it was a cash in, but it was a one-on-one match. It wasn't like he went behind his back to do it. Edge won it again on Raw. He had it for 4 days and he cashed in on a SmackDown. CM Punk won it at WrestleMania. He had it for 92 days, cashed it in on a Raw. CM Punk won it again at WrestleMania 25, 63 days, cashed it in at Extreme Rules. Jack Swagger won it. He cashed it in 2 days later on SmackDown. Kane won it at WrestleMania 26. 2 days later, cashed in on SmackDown. Kane won it again at Money in the Bank 2010, and then he went on to cash it in an hour later at the same pay-per-view. That's when he beat Mysterio.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Won it at Money in the Bank, 127 days. He cashed it in on a Raw against Randy Orton after he was attacked by Nexus. Daniel Bryan won Money in the Bank. He had it for 154 days, and he cashed it in December 18, 2011 at Tables, Ladders, and Chairs. Del Rio had it for Money in the Bank in 2011, 28 days, cashing at SummerSlam. Dolph Ziggler, 267 days. And then he cashed in at the Raw after WrestleMania. So far, 280, still the number.
280 was who?
Edge, the first time, the first
Okay.
person to hold it. John Cena won it at Money in the Bank. 8 days later, cashed in at Raw. Damian Sandow, Money in the Bank, cashed in 106 days later at Raw. Orton won it at Money in the Bank 35 days later, cashed in at SummerSlam. Seth Rollins had it for 273 days.
Ooh, he's second.
Cashed in at the WrestleMania with Brock and Roman. Sheamus had it for 161 days. Cashed in at Survivor Series. Dean Ambrose, he won it at Money in the Bank, and then he cashed it in an hour later. He pinned Seth Rollins. Now we're getting into the women also. Carmella, 287 days.
So
she had it at Money in the Bank, and then she won at SmackDown basically almost a year later.
She's the longest right now.
Yeah. Baron Corbin, 58 days. He cashed in on a Raw. Alexa Bliss, less than 3 hours. She cashed in Money in the Bank pay-per-view. Braun Strowman, 70 days. Cashed in on Hell in a Cell. Bayley had it. Cashed in at the same pay-per-view. Lesnar had it for 56 days. That was the best one. When he used to carry it around like a boombox on his shoulder.
Yeah, I remember that.
He cashed it in on Seth Rollins. And that's where it stopped.
Damn, so why did I keep thinking that The Miz had the Money in the Bank and something with Bobby Lashley? Maybe it was just, I don't know. Maybe I was smoking something. I don't know.
Yeah, it happens, man. It happens.
I swear to God, I saw it or something. It was like, I think it was during the COVID era, during the COVID time, but man, maybe I'm wrong. Oh, well, whatever.
You may be right, man. You may be right. There just doesn't have all of them, so there's some other there.
Okay.
So.
No. It is what it is.
Mimo asked if we talked about how bad the Elimination Chamber. I mean, yes, it sucked, but it was the setup for what we're going to get at WrestleMania.
Don't give him excuse. It sucked. They should have done it better. We already knew the outcome.
Yes, what they should have done was they should have put a ring on the finger instead of brass knucks and then punched them.
Correct.
Because the ring does it all.
Yes, sir. That is 100% correct.
All right. It's time to talk about that other company.
It still exists?
That other company down south.
It still exists?
It does. And thank you to Fightful and betonline.ag. We're going to talk about AEW Revolution. It is the night.
I'm excited because they got that new logo, baby. That new AEW logo coming out too. Woo!
All right. You want to go through these great matches? I mean, this to me is the best AEW Dynamite card I've seen in a while.
Really? I thought they had a really good card at like an
no, they've had again, man. My only look, the wrestling on AEW is fantastic. Problem is there's no entertainment to keep you just sitting there like watching it. I mean, they're getting so bad now. They're bringing back all the old stuff. They're paying with an Amazon gift card, $25 gift card to Tony Schiavone. I mean, oh, God.
Tony. All right, so let me write down this card.
I got it right here. You ready?
I go for it.
The Meat Madness match. Wardlow versus Hobbs versus Archer. The betting odds has Wardlow at -500, Hobbs at +300, Lance Archer +1200.
What is this meat?
You, DJ Frankie Frezko.
What is this Meat Madness match? What is that?
It's the meat. The meat.
They gotta eat meat while they're fighting?
No, they're just big guys. They're the meat.
Oh my God, that's so dumb for them to freaking go ahead.
You remember when Wardlow and Hobbs were hitting each other? They're like meat.
Yeah, but what does Lance Archer have to do with this? Lance Archer doesn't say meat. It doesn't make any sense. Of course, AEW. Wardlow all day. I think Wardlow wins it. I mean, he's already with that faction. There's no way he's not.
Yeah, but that faction is just like
boring. Yeah.
What happened to that? I mean, dude. Again, you didn't have anything planned, thinking that hey, what happens when MJF leaves?
You know, when they said Meat Madness match, they should have put in Sean Stanley versus Frankie Frezko versus Big O, and let's see who eats the most meat. You probably win. You probably beat me. Because I remember you told me one day that you destroyed like 1,000 wings, and I was like, "What? How many wings do you eat? Jesus, that's
I used to do
insane!"
the 50 wings at Sports Grill. We do the 50 wings, the potato skins.
You kidding me?
No,
Aren't you not throwing up after that? That's a lot of food.
buddy, I got meat right here, baby.
I
Meat.
could eat about pushing it without an empty stomach. That means I'm just grinding, and I gotta drink water. I could probably eat about maybe 30 wings. I could give it a go with 30, but after that,
I
I'm
did the
like,
Sports Grill wing eating contest. I was trying out for the team,
yeah.
and I did you had to eat 20 wings. I think it was 20 wings. I
But
did
how
it.
fast?
I did it in 2 minutes and 56 seconds.
Jesus, you were swallowing those wings.
And I was, it was a 5-person team. I was number 7,
Wow.
and a girl beat me. A woman beat me.
Wow. I didn't know Memo was competing.
There was a guy that ate bones, man. He was eating bones and stuff.
I didn't know Memo was competing. Damn.
Yeah. Memo's in.
I love you, Memo.
All right, we got another tag team match. We haven't seen this one before.
Wait. Who did you pick?
Wardlow, man. Come on.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Although I would like to see Hobbs get a little bit of a
he's
but I think ultimately that the Callis faction is going to go away. I believe. I don't know.
Well, he won on Saturday. He was fighting against
Hobbs.
Yeah, he fought against.
Yeah. No, you got to win because he's going into you can't be losing going to the Meat Madness match.
That's true. You cannot, sir. I mean, I didn't even know they were calling it a Meat Madness. Jesus. Okay, go for it.
All right, TJ Mimo, I can only eat 10 wings. Come on, Mimo.
And
more than 10.
And not only that, but Memo can't even eat spicy wings, bro, because he can't handle the spice. Okay, in the competition, did you get to pick what flavor you wanted?
They were the special grilled wings. The wings.
So you can't choose like if you wanted buffalo on it or anything like that.
Oh no, it was all the same because it was a competition, and then they have the wing eating competition on the Saturday that they have the big thing for. Is it Make-A-Wish or one of those? I think it's Make-A-Wish. They do. They have the big thing out there at the Sports Grill by. Was Coral Gables? Is it there? The Sports Grill there?
I thought there was a sport. Is there a Sports Grill over there? There's a Sports Grill in Doral, no?
No, there's a Sports Grill in Doral, but there's also one over, I believe, by Gables. I believe it's by Gables.
I know there's the one that. Well, the ones that I've gone to
it's
a
by
lot.
The mall right there. What's the mall down that way?
The one I've always gone to is the one on Bird. Yeah, Bird is the one that I've gone to a couple times. That's right off the turnpike. That's Sports Grill. There was that Sports Grill there, and then the Sports Grill in Miami Lakes. Those are the two that I usually.
I've been to the Miami Lakes one. Maybe it's the Bird Road one. Maybe I don't know what it's called.
The Bird Road one is right off the turnpike. I've gone to that one a couple times too. That one's good. You guys, what you talking about? You've been to the one in Bird Road. Remember, you guys did some of the Dolphin games over there, the Bird Road one, right?
Oh, then no, that's not the other one.
Okay.
That's not the one.
Well, you know which one I'm talking about, right?
The one now I know which one.
Yeah, I've gone to that one.
There's another one that's I want to say it's by.
Oh, you know what? You're right. It is in Coral Gables, Sunset Place, right by Sunset Place.
That's the.
Yes.
I don't know Miami that well, so I.
Oh my God, I forgot about.
Sunset Place.
I forgot to tell you this, and thank you for reminding me. I actually used to play kickball, and that was the sponsoring bar for the kickball. And we went there, and while we were eating there at that Sports Grill, guess who came to pick up like 50 wings that night? He's an ex-NBA player for the Miami Heat. Who do you think came out there and got some wings? You will never imagine who it is. He's an old school NBA Heat player. Who do you think?
Ron Cycli.
Close, very close. Glenn Rice.
Okay, all right.
When I saw Glenn Rice, I was like, holy crap, Glenn Rice. And he was just picking up some wings, bro. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So Glenn Rice does like some Sports Grill. Yeah, Chad. Hell yeah, Glenn Rice, baby. That was one of my favorite basketball players back in the day. But if we gotta go with what's the next match?
Are you ready? Once in a lifetime.
Oh,
Claudio Castagnoli and John Moxley versus FTR.
Did you add the once in a lifetime, or
Of
are they
course I did.
literally?
Of course I did.
Oh, okay,
You've
okay.
already seen it
No,
3
no,
times
because
on
that
Dynamite.
sounds like an AEW type of move that they'll start naming
No,
each of
this
these
match
matches.
was on Dynamite like 2 weeks ago.
I know that, yeah, and they were complaining, and they were like, "Okay, yeah, I accept the match." It's so dumb. Yeah, they accepted it on Saturday. I remember seeing.
So Moxley is minus 150, FTR plus 110 on
Wow.
the betting line.
So they got Moxley as the favorite.
Yeah. Moxley and Castagnoli.
Wow. You know what? I'm gonna go with FTR, man. I think they should win it.
I think they should win it, but that's why I'm going to go with Castagnoli and Moxley, because FTR should win it. But
They should win it, but because they should win it, they're gonna lose.
and here we go.
Uh-oh.
The great debut. Will Ospreay takes on Takeshita.
Oh. New Japan all over again.
Will Ospreay minus 2,000. Takeshita plus 700.
Oh man, I would bet on just Takeshita just to see if I hit. I mean, it would be a complete disaster if Takeshita is able to beat Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay all day, bro.
Yeah.
But it isn't even his debut because he's gonna be at Dynamite tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's just his wrestling debut, but we already seen him.
Just throw them into. He's already going to get lost in the sauce. Like it's frustrating, man. It's frustrating.
It's very frustrating.
AEW TNT Championship match.
Oof.
Christian Cage, the champion, minus 200, takes on Daniel Garcia plus 150.
I like that one.
This one, I kind of think Daniel Garcia with the help of Edge.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think Daniel Garcia wins it by Edge helping him out, and then we get the dancing.
I like the dancing, baby. The dancing.
Yeah. I don't like you dancing, but I'll watch that.
I'm gonna go with a left turn here, and I'm gonna say, no, never mind. Christian's gonna win this one.
Yeah,
I like Danny, but Christian's winning.
I hope they would give it to Daniel, and I hope you give it to him with Edge, like interfering. But you're right, it's AEW. It'll probably be a draw.
Oh, they'll run out of time.
Yeah, the bell rings. The pay-per-view's over. The rest of the matches are canceled. They went too long. They went over their time.
They did.
The AEW. Good God, can they make up any more longer titles?
Oh,
AEW Continental Crown Championship match. The champion, Eddie Kingston, takes on the challenger, Bryan Danielson. Kingston, a betting favorite of minus 150. Danielson at plus 110.
Wait, I saw that on Saturday. I think you mentioned that if Danielson loses, he has to shake Kingston's hand.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, that's what I thought. Because that is like,
you know what we should do? We should call that the AEW Triple C. Continental Crown Championship. The AEW Triple C.
If they were smarter, they would have gone ahead and gotten Burger King to sponsor that match for them.
Man, yeah, come on, the crown. Can you imagine Eddie Kingston walking out with the crown like Booker T?
They would have had
Booker.
They would have had the Burger King guy come out with one of them.
Yeah, that would be them.
You know what?
It changed the mat. It's Burger King.
Yeah, hell yeah. You know, I'm a little bit, 50-50 on this one. I like Kingston, but I also think Bryan Danielson doesn't want to shake his hand. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say, I think Kingston wins. I think Kingston will pull the win. I think out of respect, Bryan Danielson will shake his hand.
I just think Danielson's at what he's shown so far since he's been in AEW. He's there to build up everybody else. He's not there for himself. I think this adds to the Kingston come up. He gets the respect from Danielson.
I mean,
I think it adds on to that.
I don't think you need to build up Kingston. I think a lot of people already know him. But yeah,
but I'm saying, but Bryan Danielson to me is not the guy that's going to beat Kingston now with Kingston on this role. Like, I don't see Danielson being like, I need the win. No, I think he keeps rolling. I think Kingston keeps rolling here.
I like it.
This is going to be a tornado tag team match. Now, the question I have is because I haven't been watching a whole lot of AEW a whole lot.
Okay.
Sting and Darby are still the champions, or did they lose the titles?
No, they're still the champions.
Okay, because they have the C on the Young Bucks, which was odd to me. So I don't know if they've got this wrong, on here, but so they've got Sting and Darby Allin a plus 200, and they have the Young Bucks as the champions minus 300.
No, they got that one wrong. It's
I
a
don't
good.
know that Sting loses this match.
Guys,
I think they go out.
where can I bet on that match? I would all day bet on Sting and Darby Allin.
They
all
said
day.
it's betonline.ag.
Okay, I might have to join that betting.
Again, the person who wrote this article may have mixed it up. It might not be the same on the betting.
So since Sting and Darby won it and they got beat down, bloodied, and all that stuff, and then obviously the Young Bucks keep wrestling with the stained white suits. It's disgusting.
Yeah, and this is going to be, and again, it's a tornado match because Sting won't have to go in there and be one-on-one with any of the Bucks and all that stuff, and it'll be a good showcase for Sting to go out on top.
Exactly.
The only question I have after that is, do they just vacate the tag team titles?
I mean,
another tournament, AEW, another tournament,
a one-man tournament. Who could be Darby's partner? I like you said, I don't see Sting and Darby losing. I mean, it would make no freaking sense for Sting and Darby to lose. Because at the end of the day, this is Sting's last match. I mean, it just makes sense for him to win. I mean, seems predictable. I got Sting and Darby all day.
I believe the same thing. I don't think the Young Bucks win this. I believe they've been the a-holes they've been so that Sting gets the right send-off.
That's true.
Although I do like the Young Bucks this way. I do like it.
Hold on.
Frankie Frezko with the Mets Marlins jersey. That was a Mets jersey from.
Yeah, no. Hell no. That's my Frezko jersey for the Martins.
Nice. All right, the AEW International Championship match. Orange Cassidy, the champion, plus 400. Roderick Strong, the challenger, minus 700.
I think this is a perfect time for Roderick Strong to win a belt. So I'm gonna say Roderick pulls the upset and he beats Orange Cassidy.
And I think you have to do that because you need that group to have a win. That group's got to pick up something. I mean, you've lost everything you built for as good as that Devil angle was. Yeah. It's been just as bad on the way down.
The only way you could the thing is that if you built that team or that faction, you have to be able to bring back Adam Cole and actually him wrestle. When is he gonna actually be ready? When is his foot?
That, though, but like again, this is where me and you were discussing this. Like, what was MJF's status?
Wait, hold on. Before you continue, that's a very good point, I don't doubt. Is there any belt that isn't up for taking? I think every single match is a belt, isn't it? No.
Champions. I mean, they got 600 titles. This isn't even all the titles because the TBS title's not on here.
No, TBS isn't there. And Julia Hart still has that, right?
Yeah, and the TNT title's right there, Christian. Yeah. Okay.
No, but you also don't got the Trios belt. The Trios belts are not on, right?
Yeah, the Trios belt's not there either. Yeah.
That's probably going to be for Collision.
You have 3 matches: Ospreay, Takeshita, the tag team with Moxley and FTR, and the Madness match. The only matches without a title.
That Meat Madness is so good.
Oh, you know what they might do? They might make a belt for that. Just a belt with a big steak on it. It's like freaking.
What kind of steak though?
Tomahawk. You gotta have a tomahawk. A spinning tomahawk.
I love it. Yes.
And on the side, you got the sirloin. You have every piece of meat on the belt. You just saw little cuts.
Not only is it such a good belt, it makes you hungry. I love it.
Oh. And then you got people carrying them to the ring. Little throne, the meat's a throne or something.
And then every time he's backstage, he's grilling.
Oh, yes.
He's grilling like a steak. I love it.
Excuse me, Renee, give me a minute. I got to flip the steak. That burger's on today. And then, like, if somebody doesn't want out there, they got hot dogs because you don't want to give the good food to the bad people. Crazy. Raw meat steaks. We could do that. Yeah. And
Wait, hold on.
Yes, you get the raw meat, and then you what's that brand? You brand it with the AEW symbol on the steak. It'll have the AEW symbol, like
And you know who could sponsor that?
Brand the horses. Is it called branding? Right?
Yes. Branding.
Yeah.
And you know who could sponsor that belt? A1 Sauce. There you go.
No way, man. No. Omaha Steak Company.
No, probably, yeah. I mean, any of those sauces.
Champion gets free delivery of Omaha steaks.
Ooh, it makes me want to go wrestle.
Of winning.
I like it, man. Bring in another steak belt. I like it.
You know what? I'm gonna start training tomorrow. I think I might join the meats division.
Oof. What we got next? What we got next?
When we end this, I might go get a pizza.
I might go to Taco Bell.
All this talk, I'm hungry.
I know that's why I might go eat some Taco Bell now after this.
All right. AEW Women's World Championship. We fade the black and white. Timeless Tony Storm takes on Deonna Purrazzo. Storm is a -600. Purrazzo +350.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Purrazzo wins this because obviously she's the newbie coming in. But man, you gotta keep Timeless Tony Storm. Like it never gets old, man. I like it. I think Timeless Tony should win this. I'm gonna go with Timeless Tony.
I can't go against that because I think Purrazzo down the line will become a champion in AEW. I don't think it's now. I think there's too much going on to if she wins the title. You got Britt coming back soon, I'm guessing.
You got Mercedes.
Amy Hayter's coming back, I'm guessing soon. Mercedes will be debuting soon. There's a lot going to be happening here in the next couple days.
Thunder Rosa was actually wrestling on Saturday, and she was all up and saying, "This is my house." So hey, good. It wouldn't make sense to put it on Purrazzo. It just makes sense to keep it on Timeless Tony and see where they go with that. A lot more storylines. Plus, she's so good.
Yeah,
it's been working for her.
Yep. And that's the other thing with that whole gimmick is with the belt on her, it means that much more.
It does.
Because it's like,
it does.
It's a timepiece. The AEW World Heavyweight title match, again, I think these are written wrong.
Okay.
Samoa Joe, the champions, -700.
Okay.
Hangman Adam Page, -1,000.
Okay.
Swerve Strickland, +400.
They got Swerve as an underdog?
Yeah.
That's terrible. I mean, look, man.
Well, here's the other thing, too, is Hangman's going to announce this week if he's going to wrestle.
Why?
He might not even be a part of the match.
What happened to him? I did see that. Nothing.
There's something going on personally with him or something. But, I mean, I got to believe if he's coming to Dynamite.
He's going to WWE?
No. I think there's something personally, like in his personal life that's going on. But if you're coming to Dynamite to make the announcement, you're going to be there, right? You don't come in and be like, I'm sorry, guys, I'm not going to be at the pay-per-view. If you're coming in fired up to sell the main event, I believe. But I could be wrong. But I was hoping Swerve would win this, and maybe he will, but with a +400 betting odds, it's not good.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for him. I will go and say Samoa retains the belt. I want Swerve to win, but I think Samoa Joe keeps the belt.
Yeah, I almost feel like they're going to do this Swerve Hangman thing for a long time. For like the next 2 years.
Please don't do it.
It's going to be Swerve and Hangman against each other.
So bad if they do. It's terrible.
And then that's it. I mean, that is your
AEW card.
Revolution stacked card.
I mean, the only thing that I am not too happy is that they didn't make a meat belt. Look, AEW, listen to us. Make it happen, bro. You're going to not only get people to eat meat, but you're going to get more fans that want to always grab something to eat.
Meat ring, like a brass knuckles, and then put the meat on the brass knuckles. So you have a 4-fingered little chicken strip.
Yeah. Terry says, do you guys think they'll put the belt on Swerve or Wardlow? Look.
Wardlow, no. Swerve, I hope.
It makes a lot of sense for them to put Swerve and Wardlow as your champions, especially with the momentum that Swerve has. Tony Khan is running this, so it's obvious that he's not going to give it to Swerve. And then when it comes to Wardlow, like I said, he should win it. He should win a Meat Madness match for sure. But a belt, no, because I still feel that they're still going to try to keep.
Oh, I remember what I want to talk to you about, and I sent it to you. I can't remember. I think it was in our chat with Chad also. And please, in the chat, if you're watching us on X or whatever, I want you to please jump in on this answer, please. Bubba Ray Dudley was on Busted Open Radio. And me and Frankie have talked about this many times. And he said something, and it just like when I saw it, I started laughing. He says, Tony Khan is to big wrestlers what Vince McMahon was to the small wrestler.
Ooh, that's a good point.
He doesn't know how to use them.
That's a good, very solid.
When I saw, I was like, that is 100%. Bubba nailed it to me.
It's a very good
Because
point.
Vince hated the small wrestlers because he thought that it took away from the presentation. They should be larger than life.
Sure.
That was his whole thing. If they're watching, it should be larger than life. It's like, again, back in the day when you went to the circus, you had what? The larger than life stuff. You had the people with the lions. You had everything's larger than life. And that's the way Vince thought everything should be. And when you look at Tony Khan, again, he wants to be exact opposite of WWE. I don't know if he knows what to do with the big guys.
I mean, I agree.
Wardlow is a monster, and you just crushed him.
Lance Archer has been a monster, and he doesn't know how to. I mean, New Japan has done a better job with Lance Archer than he has
because they know how to use big guys.
You know, even Powerhouse Hobbs. You know, yeah, man, I agree. I think that's a very good analogy. But at the same time, I will have to say this: when it comes to Tony Khan, I think he just doesn't know how to use anybody. So, I mean, it could go either way. I mean, how is it possible that you built a whole story off of your biggest wrestler, MJF, and then he leaves? And then what happens? You know, so if you can't even get that right, how in God's green earth are you going to get anything right?
Well, it was like what we talked about, too, with the heavyweight title. It's like they did their first 3 years, and you're watching like, oh, man, this is great. And then it was like, what happened after that? It's almost like, okay, we got to this point written down, we're good. Now, where do we go after that? And that's how I feel like they had the angle with the Devils. Like, okay, we get to the big blow off. It's Adam Cole. Yeah, what do we do after that? They didn't have a plan on what to do with that. It should have been them going after somebody else. And maybe, and to me, it would have been better to me. And again, I know Sting had a bigger input if they would have went after Sting and Darby.
I've always said this, man. I always felt that there was 2 drop-offs in AEW. And the 2 biggest drop-offs in AEW was when Cody Rhodes left and when CM Punk left. Those are the 2 times that AEW has dropped the ball. I think the storytelling was completely off. I know the people had turned on Cody, and I know Cody didn't want to become a heel, but for the love of God, I would have done everything in my power to make Cody a heel and see what could happen if he didn't. And then remember that whole, a stupid match where he was like, oh, I can't challenge if I lose. And then I can't challenge for that belt again. And then he lost it. And then he literally couldn't compete anymor for that TNT belt. So it's like, or no, for the heavyweight belt. It was the heavyweight belt. So it's like, yeah. So like, man, some dumb moves. And then, I remember in Royal Rumble, people were mentioning, hey, look, the 2 biggest draws in Royal Rumble, Cody Rhodes and AEW were literally in AEW, and now they were the last 2 in WWE. That goes to show you how bad they dropped the ball with those 2 guys.
Well, but also I think it goes back to show you that like Cody, to me, and this is me just reading between the tea leaves in a little bit, to me, is that he didn't feel that he could tell his story in AEW.
Yeah, because AEW doesn't know how to do any stories at all.
They're not a story. Think when you start looking back at everything else, Cody was the only one that was ever really involved in storylines.
He was, man.
If you look back at it, I mean, yes, they had other things with Kenny and Hangman Page and things like there was other things happening. But when you look at everything else, it was Cody was kind of the storyteller for everything else.
He was, man. He was. And the crazy thing too, man, is that I remember in some of the behind the scenes AEW stuff, like there was episodes where he was, directing like certain stories that he wanted to do, like, hey, the weigh-in and stuff like that. I think they had done one where there was like a weigh-in or something, and it went completely wrong. It wasn't like the best weigh-in or anything like that. But still, you could tell. Huh?
Anthony Ogogo.
There you go. So you had all these things going for them, and it looked like Cody wanted a story to be told. Now in the AEW world, like you said, look, man, it's not only about wrestling. If you want to see wrestling, go to an indie show. Like you're gonna get the same vibe. That's why I think I think it was Eric Bischoff who said that just AEW is like a big indie show.
Indie show on steroids.
Yeah, indie show on steroids because they don't have a story. You need to have storylines, and then it just doesn't make any sense when you're not gonna get the most out of the fans by just showing blood and out of this world acrobatics and stuff like that. You're gonna get some people, but it gets tiring, it gets boring. And that's why when I tell you, hey, this last pay-per-view of WWE was kind of it was okay, it was boring, it's because you want to see those extra little things. And when it comes to AEW, you want to see some type of format where you're like, okay, look at this guy. They're selling me on him. I could rely. They did a good job with the devil, and then they dropped the ball. Like it was just terrible. I remember the day when Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson made their way over to AEW, and you had the Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and all that. They were big at that time. That was a good storyline for those guys. And you bring Adam Cole, and now you got this whole, the Hangman against Bryan Danielson and all stuff. They didn't even do that. They never even set that up, and it was there. It was there for them, and they just left everything like whatever. And then to make things worse is that now I'm noticing like you got these trios guys, right? And they're making them good guys, and they're hanging together, and it's just so wild. It's like yo, today it's like today, Sean, I'm gonna just throw any name. I'm gonna make a Swerve a baby face, and then on Saturday I'll make him a heel. That's it. Whatever I feel like doing for the day, that's what's gonna happen. And then whatever. And it's just sad
Yeah.
because
Oh,
like what we spoke about this when we
it's rough.
first started the show, it's we're not tuning in. We're not invested in it anymore. I still watch it. I saw
Well, I'll watch it. I'll DVR it, and I
that's what I
fast
do.
forward through everything because all I got to do is tune back in, and you see it. Like for instance, you have the CMLL guys there. Tony Khan's not. He puts them over on Rampage or whatever, so then that his guys can beat them on Dynamite and Collision. That's what happens. That's why people don't want to. The Forbidden Door is there, but
That's the only
I
good thing that they've done,
I
but
think but I think that people have figured out that like, all right, and look, Tony Khan's not doing anything wrong because if you're dumb enough to go in there and be on his show because you're trying to use him for the TV time, then your guys are going to have to do the job. I mean, that's what it's going to be, but you're not going to get your guys over there either. That's the problem. It's like,
and have we heard anything
and
from
then when contracts expire, guess what? If they're any good, he's going to pick them up.
and have we heard anything about the other one that the other organization that they run? What the hell is the name of it? The other one that he bought. Oh, I
Ring
forgot
of
the
Honor?
name. Huh? What? A Ring of Honor. Yeah. Do you hear them? I don't even hear Ring of Honor anymore. Like it's like
That
whatever.
shows. I mean, their heavyweight champion is the Triple C, the Continental Crown Championship, is part of the title. Kingston's our champion.
I didn't even know that the Continental Crown Championship is part of Ring of Honor too. Like is he defending it in both?
Remember, they combined the NJP Strong, the Ring of Honor, and then the Continental Crown or whatever the hell it was.
Jesus Christ!
They all went to one title because Eddie Kingston in the tournament, he put his two titles up with the other title that was originally going to be there.
So sad. If they don't do something about, I mean, until they don't bring MJF, I probably am not gonna be tuning in live to their live shows. I'll probably just watch their DVRs about them. Not like WWE. I tune in like SmackDown. I'm intrigued. I want to go, especially that The Rock is gonna be there. Of course, I want to watch it.
It's like let's leave something for the imagination,
Yeah.
And it's tough too because like Hangman Page, I guess this past week did an injury angle because he wasn't sure if he's going to be at the pay-per-view. And then it was reported that, it was just part of the angle. He's okay. And I agree with Jerry Lynn on this because he's like, can we just not have this reported so that we can have a cliffhanger for the following week? Again, that's one of the things that where social media has kind of, because now back in the day, like if you knew what website to go to, you could go to a website and get some of the dirt.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like now where you just go on X, you type in pro wrestling and you've got, spoilers and everything else if you want them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so some of it's it's just the way it is, man, I guess. But to me, that's why I think you got to put more emphasis on if you're AEW and WWE, to me, you have to put more emphasis on the entertainment part of it to keep the audience. If you're TNA, if you're NWA, you're MLW, you can get away with just wrestling because most people that are tuning in are because they're just going to watch that show that you're doing. And then,
Correct.
And to me, TNA's done a better job storytelling with their weekly show than AEW does.
I agree.
I watched the pay-per-view the other day. I was like, oh, this all makes sense from what I watched. The shows led into the pay-per-view, and it's just sometimes I feel like these are overdone. And again, I get it. You only have 4 pay-per-views a year. It's hard. You got to do 3 months. You're doing in 3 months implements where WWE is only doing it in 4 weeks. But again, that's where I think hopefully who they're bringing in and who they're hiring now will help some of this subside and
absolutely
and get a little bit. But also Tony Khan's got to be on board with allowing it to play out that way too. Like you can't. You got to get to something, man. Now you've got Will Ospreay coming in. Jay White, you've just to me buried. He means nothing anymore. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, think about everybody they've brought in. Who are you still like, yes, I need to see him? Hell, even Adam Copeland now is kind of like,
The only one that's kind of holding strong a little bit, I'm trying to think, is who did they bring over from over there? Because even Bryan Danielson is not even like somebody that like gets me all excited to watch anymore. I had somebody in my mind and then I just blanked out. Swerve would be the only one.
Okay, yeah,
the only one.
That's a good one.
That's the only person I think right now that I would say, hey, they
also I think he's organically making them put him on TV because of how over he is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think they wanted necessarily to push Swerve. I think it's just worked out that way to where he's having hell of matches and the crowd's into him.
Probably, yeah. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, there's nobody else. Like, everybody else is buried. Malachi Black, stale.
I heard Malachi Black and Buddy Murphy are just waiting for their contracts.
Oh, they are. They sure are, bro. It's just sad. And then Keith Lee, he's not even. I don't even know where he's at. I haven't seen him.
He's back out for. He's got some more issues again, so I'm not sure what that situation is going to be.
It's another big guy they didn't know how to use. So, just sucks.
And then he also needs to stay healthy too. That's the other thing.
He needs to lose some weight, man.
He has that issue with, I think it's the heart or something. So
sucks, man. He needs to lose some weight, just like Gunther did. That's why their careers went different ways. Gunther has been successful, and Keith Lee is kind of falling in AEW.
Yeah, but I don't think Keith Lee could get what Gunther had. Gunther was just a big guy, and he lost that weight. Keith Lee, his frame is not like Gunther's.
True.
I mean, if Keith Lee lost weight, think about him being jacked up or something. I mean, scary as hell. But I don't know that he could really get down. He almost reminds me of like a Big E. He would have
he could get like Big E. Think Big E would have worked. Let's see what they got on the chat. It says, if the AEW is behind anyone, listen and give them what they want. AEW fan. Yeah, I mean, if the AEW fans is behind anyone, listen and give them.
Swerve, the fans
but that's kind of 50-50, man. That's kind of 50-50 because just because they give them that doesn't mean that Tony knows how to use them. I'll never forget when he gave the belt to the girl you just mentioned that she probably coming back from injury. Jamie Hayter. Remember when Jamie was popping and everybody's like, yo, you got to give her the belt. And you gave her the belt. She did pretty well with the belt. And then, she disappeared. But, it's kind of like, if you're able to put the belt on somebody, make sure you're able to keep that person entertaining that way. Because that's now the face of
it's character development. That's what they're missing. And that's where WWE's got them now. And even more so now, because at least with Triple H in charge, him and Shawn Michaels work together pretty good. That when NXT guys come up, They're not changing them that much. So the guys from NXT come up and you already have the story behind them. Whereas before Vince used to, well, that's not my guy. Yet your guy down there. I'm changing him. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
Well, did you see?
it's
Apparently,
about I always call it emotionally invested. You have to get fans emotionally invested in the characters. And I feel like AEW tries to pile too much crap into 2 hour shows to where you can't really get invested into anybody.
did you see that Sean Spears made his way to NXT?
Oh, is he?
Yeah, I just looked it up on Twitter. He's in NXT now. Wow, that's impressive.
I
Good for
figured
him.
those
Good for
guys
him.
come back. And what he'll probably do, he's probably down there more so as a guy to work with the younger talent because he lives not too far from Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a school with Tyler Breeze.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
They do the flatbacks. I think it's flatbacks is the school that they do.
Well,
So
you saw
he's
that,
probably there to help out and just put guys over and work.
but remember, I mean, but you gotta understand that WWE is so creative. Look when they brought back, they brought down Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, and now they're part of NXT. You know, and they weren't having such a big piece in SmackDown, so then they're like, yeah, let's bring them down to NXT, and now they're making them relevant again. So it's like, look at Baron Corbin. He's a prime example of somebody who we lost interest in, and now he's kind of resurrecting his character, and I love that. You know, so they do that. I don't see that with AEW, and you know we've already spoken about this. That's where I think they dropped the ball with Ring of Honor. They could have done like, hey, let's do something similar to that. Ring of
We
Honor
thought that's
Development
what
League.
they were going to do in a way. Because I remember when Tony was talking about it at the beginning, he said that he wanted to use it how they use NXT. And then I think maybe he caught what he said and was like, oh, wait, that means we're going to be like WWE. And we can't be like WWE because we're the anti WWE. And I think that's where I believe a lot of this stuff hurts them because they're so, we can't be anything like that. We got to be opposite of that. And it's just, look,
You
man,
could do some stuff, but not
yeah,
be exactly like them. But you could do some stuff.
like what they do now, like look, if you had the WWE template on that roster and you're doing and producing those stuffs, you could probably be maybe competition because the roster's not bad.
The roster's good, man,
Roster's great.
and there's a lot of wrestlers there with a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Even the up and even
they get lost. Like right now, Will Ospreay's debuting on Wednesday on Dynamite, and he's versing Takeska at the pay-per-view already. Takeska's the guy you want to bring in for Will Ospreay?
Kind of sad.
And nothing against Takeska, but I just think, I mean, dude, there's nothing there. I mean, I get it. Maybe they're going to try to bring up the old NJPW, like you're saying.
Yes.
And be like, so there's history there. So you got something, but it's like.
Maybe Don Callis gets involved. Maybe that's why as well. But
like to me, I would not even have Will Ospreay wrestle on the card. I would have Samoa Joe or whoever win the heavyweight title, and then I'd have him make his way out and present himself as the top challenger for the title.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah. Samoa wins, and then Will Ospreay's music hits, and then he comes out, and he doesn't even go to the ring. He just steps out and he looks, and he's like saying, "Hey, I'm coming for you now."
Just points down toward him or does whatever, you know, Will Ospreay has some kind of hand gesture, whatever it is to do, and done, man. That's all you got to do.
Yeah, but you never see that from me.
You just want to put 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag so much. It's like, let's have 12 matches. 8 championship matches. Dude, you're going to go till midnight on a freaking Sunday. Is it a Sunday or Saturday this
time? I believe
March 3rd. It's a Sunday.
Oh, nice. That means I'll be able to watch it.
A Sunday pay-per-view. That thing's going to go till midnight, bro.
Considering how many matches they like to freaking put on these damn events, yeah, they do.
No,
look how many. Look how many matches that Elimination Chamber had. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then how many matches
at the beginning?
And how many matches does this Revolution pay-per-view have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So they added 3 more matches than than WWE's
And when
elimination.
you look at it, who are you taking time from on these cards, on these shows?
Not because it's
Think about 9 of them. Even if each one takes 20 minutes, that's 3 hours.
and the Darby and the Sting one has to last because that's Sting's last.
And plus, Sting's got all these people that are going to be there.
Yeah, you gotta make that one.
You
gotta make that one the last match. That has to be the last match. That has to be the last match. You cannot make that as like an early match.
That match alone is probably going to be 45 minutes with entrances and everything else. I mean, with all the hoopla and everything else, will probably take up 45 minutes.
So look, they dig you in because look, like you got Timeless Tony versus Deanna, right? And that match, let's say it runs about 15 minutes. Let's give it 20 minutes. That Orange Cassidy and Roderick Strong, you could shorten that one, but they're probably not because it's an international championship match. The Kingston and Bryan Danielson, that's gonna go long, especially if Danielson loses. He has to shake his Kingston's hand, so it might take another hour for them to just shake hands.
Agent Garcia should get some time, but that's the problem is if you're on pay-per-view, they should deserve the time, and you're not giving these guys. They're gonna have what TV matches? You're gonna have 5-7 minutes to go out there,
and then you stick Ospreay on there, like what you said.
Yeah.
You stick him in this card. Why? It makes no sense. It's terrible.
It's got to make it.
I don't want to talk about this anymore. See, that's why, guys, I don't watch AEW like hardcore. I'm still an AEW fan.
Why do you have to have Castagnoli and Moxley against FTR again on here?
Makes no sense.
In the meat match, you could right there 3
matches.
No,
don't talk about that meat match. Now I'm all in that meat match now.
Well,
as long as they make that match.
Kick the buy-in or whatever.
That could have definitely been in the buy-in. So could it have been FTR Blackpool Combat Club, especially since they fought the other day?
Maybe those are the buy-in matches and then 7 matches on the main card. Because I don't see anything about
there's no buy-in
matches or anything. So I don't know if there's a buy-in. So maybe those 2 matches will be the buy-in.
Will Ospreay be the buy-in?
Moxley on the buy-in.
Will Ospreay to catch the buy-in?
How far have people fallen? Moxley and Castagnoli on the buy-in against FTR.
What a slap in the face to both of them. Look at it. If you look at all these matches, there's none that could be in a buy-in. None of them.
The only other match that's not a championship match is Will Ospreay and Takeshita.
Yeah, there's the only one that and the meat match. That's it. Those are the only 2.
No, but I'm saying if those 2 are the buy-in, the only other match available to not be unless you're gonna put a championship match on a buy-in,
you can't.
Will Ospreay and Takeshita.
That's a slap in the face if you put a championship match on the buy-in. Not only are you disrespecting the wrestler, but you're disrespecting the belt because you didn't even think the belt is good enough to be in the pay-per-view. Terrible.
Dude, could you imagine Bryan Danielson and Eddie Kingston on the buy-in?
Wow, bro. Wow. That's all I gotta say.
Right when Danielson goes to shake his hand, it cuts to the live pay-per-view, and
that would be awesome. That would be something typical that AEW would do. Because remember, they always like to do fuck-ups too. They'll be ahead and they'll like something will go wrong with the screen or something. I don't know. That's just how they are, bro.
Chad was saying Sean and Hunter definitely like to set up their wrestlers for success, like any good company setting up their employees for success. And no doubt said, do you think that comes from those 2 being former wrestlers? I mean, it does, but also it just that's the WWE way, though. And WWE's always been about character development, even back in the day. Think about the cartoons. They used to have a Saturday morning cartoon that developed the characters for the show, the Junkyard Dog, the Iron Sheik, and all this stuff. They've always been, and it's been about crazy character development. They had the guy, the Goon, which was a hockey player. Kane, before he became Kane, was Dr. Isaac Yankem, Jerry Lawler's dentist, when he was feuding with Bret Hart. Like, I mean, they've always been about characters. All of them been great and good? No, not really. And then it became the Attitude Era, where it became about the character development of Stone Cold Steve Austin, who, it became who they are, just amped up 120%. Shawn Michaels, all that stuff. That's where, again, you can lead a horse to water, but they got to drink it. And you can see like your Tiffany Strattons. There's people, you can look at people and go, they got it.
People were screaming "Tiff" all throughout that elimination chamber, man.
Tiffy time, Tiffy time. During the men's match, they were chanting Tiffy time. During the men's elimination chamber.
The only thing I hope they don't do is that they push her over Jade Cargill. I would be pissed about that. But at the rate that it's going, it looks like maybe Tiff could surpass.
Tiff, I think, will get the
push before Jade.
I think she'll be on Raw, though. That's what I'm saying. I think she'll stay with Raw. I think you're going to get Tiffany and Bianca the next feud. I wouldn't mind seeing that at WrestleMania, honestly.
And remember, they haven't even brought back Charlotte Flair from her injury. So imagine when Charlotte comes on board. So there's so much potential. It's crazy.
Yep. Sure. All right, man. What you got? Let them know where to get you at and your show tomorrow night.
Yes, sir. Every Wednesday, 8:00. You are more than welcome to tune in to my YouTube channel, Frankie Frezko. Me and my brother speak about all sports. We're gonna be talking about the Heat. The Heat playing the next 15 minutes. So let's see if they could pull that win. I think they're playing Portland today, and they had a great win last night. So it should be fun. Hopefully they keep showing off. Even with Tyler getting hurt again. So we'll be talking about that. Oh, we talk soccer. Inter Miami looking kind of shaky that first game. What can we do to kind of correct this situation? Should we be afraid? Is Inter Miami gonna be the same as the Miami Dolphins? Are they gonna flop? There's a high expectation in Inter Miami, even though this is not a big soccer town, but there's a lot of expectation. They expect Inter Miami to be in a championship game. So we'll talk about that as well, and then obviously we'll recap NXT. We also talk a little bit about the Dolphins, free agency and the draft coming around. So that's our show, me and my brother, and obviously our segment, which a lot of you don't know if you've seen it, but it's definitely Speak the Unspoken, which is where we go on a rant and we just talk about something that's in our mind. And then obviously you can find me again, like I said, on all social medias, Frezko Music, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, any of those stuff. And then if you ever catch me outside, say what's up. Even with a hat, say what's up. That's pretty much it.
By the way, hit on my Panthers parlay.
Nice. They won? How much they won?
3-2.
Oh, Panthers are serious, bro.
Yeah, they just got it. They just got it.
So
and what's funny is I got Sergei Bobrovsky's on the last shot of the game.
Really? You predicted that?
The saves. Yeah.
Wow.
Ooh, God. Ooh.
See,
no doubt. I hope the kids feel better, man.
Yeah, man. Hope they feel that definitely a lot better.
Hope it's just hopefully it's not the show making them sick. I apologize if it was them having to listen to us. I apologize. I'm sure it's more Frankie than me, but I apologize for both of us.
Hey, we came with a good idea with the meat belt. What are you talking about? I think that was a great idea.
I think I'm gonna go design one right now. And you can follow me at Sean_Stanley11 on all social media. And of course, my YouTube channel, Stanley Media House. Please hit the subscribe button. Set your notifications if you want. I talk NASCAR, some it's fine, it's kids puke. It's all good. You gotta love that. It is so I talk NASCAR, wrestling, and some uneducated sports takes. That's what I call it. Uneducated. Or non-insiderish. How should I say that? It's non-insiderish. I've been watching a lot of 22 films, so I'll let you know how it really is. Let me tell you now.
Tell us.
Let me talk to you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And we'll talk to you next week. Next Tuesday, we want to thank No Doubt, Chad. Let's see who. Terry, my dad, Mimo, of course, always in there for us. Josh, appreciate you. Sports Girl.
Wait, what did it say? Sports Girl what?
For Sports Girl in Doraus. Not good. And everybody else that joined us, we appreciate you guys. I am Sean Stanley. He is the great Frankie Frezko. And until next Tuesday, right here at 8 p.m., so long from the Sunshine State.